Bonjour. I would like one of your finest Parisian coffees, please. That'll be €5. You got it. And here's my card. We don't accept American Express. What? You don't accept my $695 a year American Express? What are you, anti-freedom? Folks, as someone who probably pays a little bit too much for this card, it is beyond frustrating when you go to use it and it's just not accepted. But of course, that's not the only problem with American Express cards. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about the major issues I have with American Express credit cards, as well as presenting you with some of the solutions to get around them. And if you're new here, hi, I'm John of John's Finance Tips. This is a channel we dedicate to talking all things money. So today we have 6 issues to address, and if I miss any, feel free to comment down below, and let's go ahead and dive into the first one. Problem number 1. And this one is one that really irks me because I'm somebody who makes content on Instagram, on TikTok, and so I see this one all the time and it's constantly just played out over and over and over again. And the issue is I see all of this content posted talking about how someone has made it when they have an American Express Platinum, or that having an American Express is some sort of flex. And to me, it is just such a backwards way of thinking about it, because having an American Express credit card, whether it's a Platinum or not, is not a flex. It's as difficult or as easy to get a top tier card from Chase or Capital One, or even just regular entry level cards from Chase and Capital One. But yet there's somehow this aura of, oh yeah, like American Express is super prestigious and that's what everyone needs to get. And if you have one, you've made it. And if someone uses an American Express, oh, they must have money. The fact of the matter is, no, and that is a huge problem, because then people start stretching themselves, getting a $695 American Express Platinum that doesn't make sense because they don't know how to use all the credit. And so they just now have this really expensive card and they're showboating it because somehow this is signaling to society that they've made it. As someone who has a lot of American Express credit cards, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't make you special and it doesn't make me special. And so the problem is that there's this false prestige associated to American Express credit cards. And I'm here to tell you that you get the credit card that works for you in your situation. If it is an American Express Platinum because you travel a ton and you fly through their airport lounges, it's an American Express Platinum. If you buy a lot of groceries, potentially it's American Express Gold. If you are a small business and you want to earn 2x on all of your spend for up to 50K of spend, then maybe it's the Blue Business Plus. But whatever it is, the card only gives you as much value as the card, and it does not give anything beyond it. So don't go reaching and getting cards thinking somehow you're impressing people or somehow that you've made it, because fact of the matter is it means none of that. Issue number 2. American Express membership reward points are some of the top points in the game. You take 80,000, move it to British Airways, you're redeeming for a flight to the Maldives for less than $100. Put in a little bit more elbow grease, you can take 85,000, move it to ANA, book a round trip ticket to Japan from North America in business class. So regardless of how you use them, they can present some incredible outsized value. But the issue with American Express though is you can only get 1 sign-up bonus per card for life. Contrast that to Chase, which has a 24 to 48 month window where you can then cycle the card again, and it could even be less than 24 months in certain instances. Capital One, Citi, Barclays, nobody bars you from getting the card again in the bonus again. There just might be a time frame in which you can't get it. Whereas with American Express, it's one and done. And so if you willy-nilly just apply and make a mistake, whoop, that's it. Those are the only points you can get from a particular card. So my recommendation, and this one might seem obvious, is that if it is your first time applying for a particular American Express, the American Express Gold or the Platinum or a slew of their other cards, make sure it's the highest offer available at the time. Now, sometimes for folks, you just need the points, and I get it. You can't wait 12 months, 24 months to see if it gets better, but just be aware that if you do have some flexibility and when you wait and when you get the points, you might be able to get a higher offer than what is already publicly available. In addition to that, and this is just a dumb rule and I have to put it out there, if you get an American Express Platinum bonus, you'll be ineligible for an American Express Gold bonus for life. It's a dumb rule, they just put it in. So what that means though is if you ever want to get the American Express Gold, get it first, because then you get the American Express Gold, the sign-up bonus, and then you can get the American Express Platinum in the sign-up bonus. Instead of, if you just got the American Express Platinum in the sign-up bonus, you will be ineligible to get the Gold and its associated bonus. Don't ask me, but I think it's silly, but them's the rules. And the third thing I will leave you with is in the credit card community, lifetime may not actually mean lifetime. And the reasoning is that on a credit report, a account that is in good standing stays on for 10 years, right? You get 10 years of history and it continues to recycle, which would mean that in theory, if you open an American Express credit card, you closed it, and you maybe waited 10 years, it would fall off your credit report. And so maybe American Express might not see that you've had it before. I personally have not had the ability to yet test out this theory. Other people speculate it might be 7 years in which it falls off, though it's usually 7 years for negative accounts, 10 years for positive accounts. Regardless, in a 7 to 10 year window, the card is going to fall off a credit report, and so why not test it again? I think I'm about 2 to 3 years away from testing it, so I will report back, but keep that in the back of your head. That lifetime may not actually be the time that you are alive, but the credit card's lifetime on a credit profile. Issue number 3 with American Express. Part of the reason a lot of us end up getting credit cards is so that we can build our credit score. And credit score, as you're gonna recall, is composed of 5 key components: on-time payments, credit utilization, average length of credit history, credit mix, and hard inquiries. And the second component of that, the credit utilization, accounts for 30% of your overall credit score. And what is credit utilization? It's quite simply how much available credit you use divided by how much available credit you're issued. And if you keep that number under 30%, you're doing well, and it should help you boost your credit score. So you're probably thinking, then what's the issue with American Express? It's credit cards. Yes, but they also have charge cards. And it's in some of the more popular cards like the American Express Gold as well as the American Express Platinum that these charge cards aren't necessarily helping you in the credit utilization space, because charge cards, unlike credit cards, do not have a credit limit. In addition, with charge cards, you actually cannot hold a balance. You have to pay the whole thing off every single month, which is a good thing. But if you think about it, if there is no available credit, then what you use divided by infinity, nothing? They just don't account for that. And credit utilization accounts for 30% of your score. So when you have maybe just a gold and not that much other credit or other credit cards, it's not helping you as much as if you had an American Express credit card like the American Express Everyday or the American Express Blue Cash Everyday, where you do have a credit limit so you can compute credit utilization. I know this one's a little bit specific, but it really is one that I want to drive home to folks, that you want to be careful with the number of charge cards you have, because it's not helping you in that key component. In fact, if I really think about it, maybe it could only be a net negative, because it will still display in your overall credit profile how much money you're borrowing, but because it's not displaying how much credit limit is extended to you, it's not helping you from an overall credit perspective by keeping your credit utilization low. And my recommendation, as I mentioned earlier, is to get American Express credit cards that have a credit limit in addition to some of their charge cards. I'm not saying don't get the charge cards, they're great, but just know that with charge cards, the credit utilization piece is missing, and that piece is an important one when it comes to helping your credit score. Issue number 4. So in the points and miles space, the name of the game is to find flights and hotels for free. The way we get them for free is we use points. And the way we get points are from credit cards. Now, there's 2 ways to get points from credit cards. The first way is the way that I don't think is efficient at all, which is spending money. I hate spending money. The more efficient way is to get sign-up bonuses. And ideally, you want to target big sign-up bonuses. You want to target 80,000 points, 100,000 points, 150. Heck, I saw one for 250,000 points the other day. But when it comes to American Express and high sign-up bonuses, the issue that they have is they also typically require some of the highest spend for their sign-up bonuses. Even though at the absolute, they offer more points, they also relatively require you to spend more money. Here's what I mean by that. Right now, typically you can find the American Express Platinum with a public offer of about 80,000 points after you spend $8,000 in 6 months. Sometimes you'll be able to find the public offer for 100,000 points for $8,000 to spend in 8 months. Contrast that to a card like the Capital One Venture X. Both of these cards, the Platinum and the Venture X, compete in the premium travel space. The Venture X, when it first publicly launched, had a sign-up bonus of 100,000 points after spending $4,000 in 3 months. Right now, it has a sign-up bonus of 75,000 points after you spend $4,000 in 3 months. Whereas even with the American Express Platinum, I actually saw an elevated offer for 125,000 points for $8,000 of spend in the first 6 months. So you double the spend, but you only get 60% more points. And so because American Express has such high requirements in order to get a sign-up bonus, you need to figure out ways to hit that spend. So I have a couple options for you if you're looking at getting American Express credit cards, but you're worried about whether or not you can hit the minimum spend. The first thing, do not be apologetic. Have no shame in your game. Leverage and use your friend's spend. I kid you not. When I was coming up in the credit card points and mouse space, I was the person who would take out my credit card to pay for everything in a group setting, and then I would Venmo charge everybody. And nobody had a problem with it because all I said was, hey guys, let me take this off your hands. Let me figure out what everyone had for dinner and I'll just put in an Excel sheet and I'll charge everybody. That's it, because your friend spent the money. They owe somebody money, and if they're not gonna put a credit card in, if they're not working on a sign-up bonus, then you might as well be the one to pick up the tab for the $100 dinner, $200 dinner, $300 dinner. You might be the one that says, hey friend, are you moving into a new apartment and you're buying some furniture? Here, why don't you use my credit card and I will then Venmo charge you for whatever that amount is. Like, you have to be just unapologetic and unashamed to get after it. And the after it is getting after the minimum spend threshold to get your points. However, I get it, not everyone is comfortable or not everyone's friends are just gonna Venmo them money, which also I think is a topic for another day. Other options could be, if you're a small business, you could prepay estimated taxes using a credit card. In addition, can you plan your signups for credit cards around big life events? For example, let's say again, you're moving and you know you have a lot of expenses coming up. Why don't you consider getting a credit card? And so you're just matching your organic spend that is maybe a little bit higher over the next couple of weeks or a couple of months, and you're hitting the minimum spend threshold. And another option that I personally haven't explored in a bit is buying gift of college gift cards to pay your student loans. These gift of college cards, you can use a credit card, American Express, buy the gift card then you can turn around and pay off your student loans with. Again, there is gonna be a fee associated, but the fee is probably worth it if you're trying to hit an 80,000, 100,000, 150,000 point bonus. Issue number 5, and this is one that even got me. So about a year and a half ago, I was sitting on my computer, ready to try my hands at another American Express card. And the card I was looking at was the American Express credit card by Charles Schwab. So I hop on my computer, fill out all the information, I go to the apply button, I get a pop-up that says that I'm ineligible. And I'm thinking, what the heck? And before anyone jumps in, this was before the period that American Express only limited you to one flavor of platinum. So I was very much eligible. Even though I've had a personal platinum, this was before they only allowed one. And I'm like, no way, ain't no way. I am officially in American Express pop-up jail. And to me, it was just so frustrating because here I am. I have a good amount of American Express credit cards. I put a good amount of spend on my American Express credit cards. Why can I not get this card? And so I frantically go online, I'm on Reddit, I'm on FlyTalk, I'm checking. One of the reasons I found was potentially because I had gotten an American Express Business Platinum within the last 9 months, and I had 250,000 points from the sign-up bonus that hadn't, I guess, aged for a year yet. Again, this is what I was reading on the forums, and so people suggested just wait until past 12 months and apply again. But regardless though, the American Express pop-up jail is very much a real thing, and it's extremely frustrating because you don't really know what could exactly trigger it. Once you're in it, you're in it. Sure, you can apply, but you're not gonna get a bonus. But who the heck would get a credit card without a bonus? So with the American Express pop-up jail, most of the time, what the consensus online seems to point to is the fact that American Express doesn't think you are a profitable customer. They think you're opening a credit card, only hitting the sign-up bonus and never using the card again, and then you cancel. Or they think you get the credit card, you just don't spend enough money with them, so we're not gonna issue more cards. And there's really only a handful of suggestions people have out there, and it's very much an art as opposed to a science as to whether or not these end up working. First one is very simple. Prove to American Express you're a profitable customer. Take out your American Express cards that you already have and put some spend on them. That's it. You're just spending, paying it off, spending, paying it off, showing, hey, you know, I'm good. Look at me, I'm not here to game the system. The second option, and it goes along with the first one, is you're just gonna have to wait. In my instance, I was spending very normally on my regular American Express cards. And so for me to be in pop-up jail at the time just didn't make a whole ton of sense other than what I had seen online, which was because I was having a large bonus come in from American Express, they wanted it to age for at least a year before they gave me another one. So I actually did end up waiting about 14 or 15 months, at which point I quote unquote was in pop-up jail again, only because of the fact that American Express now says if you have had the vanilla flavor of the platinum, you can't get the bonus ones for the other. So I guess I don't even know if I ever got out of pop-up jail, but I did end up eventually applying for the American Express Charles Schwab Platinum, and I got approved for it. I would imagine if they didn't institute the platinum rule, I would be good. But regardless of my situation, if you are in pop-up jail, your only solutions are really to spend and to wait and to try again. And again, that is actually just a huge irk of me because no other credit card issuer has that. Chase, Capital One, Citi, Barclays, nobody has this silly pop-up jail situation where they basically tell you, yeah, no, we're not gonna give you the points, sorry, too bad. And the sixth major issue with American Express. This is one we talked about earlier in the video. This is one in which you're going out, especially those who travel, with a premium American Express travel card, American Express Platinum. You go to use it, and the merchant says they don't accept American Express. And you're sitting there thinking, how the heck are you paying almost $700 a year for a card that isn't accepted globally, yet it's marketed to you as a global travel card? Yeah, that one pisses me off to no end. And part of the reason why that's the issue is because American Express is like a Visa as well as a MasterCard, as much as it's similar to a Chase as well as a Capital One. And Visa and MasterCard are payment processors. They're the actual rails that your transactions run on. Well, American Express is also the issuer and they're also the payment processor. And one thing that they can do as a payment processor is they can dictate their terms. And so you might have heard of things like an interchange fee where, oh, Visa or MasterCard charges a 2% or 3% processing fee for cards on their network. Well, American Express actually charges more than Visa or MasterCard. They can get upwards of maybe 4% or 5%. And so some merchants are sitting there thinking, well, if we accept Visa and MasterCard, that's already a huge chunk of credit card users. American Express is really expensive and they eat into our profit margins. We're just not going to accept American Express. And that is a decision they make, and there's nothing we as the consumer can do about it. There literally is nothing. The only plus side to American Express being both the bank and the processor is that some of their bells and whistles, things like return protection and purchase protection, are generally better because I feel like it's all kind of just integrated and wrapped into one. However, when you're abroad and you have an American Express and you want to use it and it's not accepted, you literally have no other options. Like, my only solution and recommendation is have non-American Express credit cards, which if you're playing points and miles, you should anyway, or carry cash. That's it. It's one of those things that it is just the way it's going to be. And I'd like to take the time now to actually comment on the recent acquisition of Discover by Capital One. Now, it remains to be seen whether or not this deal is gonna go through, but if Capital One buys Discover, it's not gonna be for their credit profile. It's because Capital One wants to use Discover's payment processing. Like, that thing is very valuable. And so it would be interesting to see then if Capital One runs into the same issue as American Express, where they have a very expensive interchange fee and merchants are now less likely to accept Capital One cards. Remains to be seen, I don't know. But anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a comment or a like down below. If you want to support my channel, I have some top offers down below for American Express cards as well. And if you are interested in some of the top American Express cards of 2024, then I think you're gonna like this video right here. Catch you on the next one. Peace!